Hello, 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 hello. I decided that today we're not gonna go with any intros simply because it's gonna be wasting time and we don't have a lot of it today because I'm a little bit late and I wanna get into the business of things as quick as possible so we don't waste time, like I said. Let me bring on the charts. Right now you can see this probably wrong banner. Well, yeah, absolutely. Let's make sure this was said, not financial advice, and let's go into the business of things. Okay, let's not waste any time. I hope everybody's here. Actually, I probably need to post. Probably do need to post. Actually, forgive me, give me half a second. I'm gonna post real quick that we are live and we're good to go and all that beautiful stuff. Okay, so we are good to go, I think. One more sec. Okay, done. Done, done, done. Done, 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 done. Perfect, perfect. All right, we're good. Let's go also into the chat so I can see the chat as I'm going through everything. I'm gonna let people join. Join. Howdy. Hello, Casey. Yo, yo, yo. Johnny. Hello. Yeah, no intro today. I'm kind of skipping the intro to get into things as quick as possible, not to waste time because I'm a bit late. So I decided to skip the intro today so we can get into the charting as quick as possible because I have a lot to cover and I don't want to waste time. Hello, Casey, Johnny, Leo, Ori. Hi, hi, hi. Good evening. Ori, you see, from your mouth to God, we had a quiet night. All right, so let's talk about. Hello, Leo. Yes, yes, yes. Bitcoin to the moon. Bitcoin to the moon. What is Bitcoin doing? Why are we talking about Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin to the moon? Is Bitcoin BTC 100K? I see. So that's the whole buzz. That's the whole noise. It's MicroStrategy, but doubling down, buying a whole bunch. I think that was it, right? If I'm not mistaken, that was the shtick. That was the big deal. If I'm not mistaken. Hello, Damien. Hello. Alrighty, boys and girls. Again, like I said, today let's not waste time. Let's get into the charting as quick as possible. Don't want to waste time. Let me remove just some of the noise here. Actually, we don't need some of it. Okay, so what did we get actually today? Actually today it's not a nothing burger. Although some would maybe ask themselves, how is it that I may be contradictive on that side of things? That well, it's against my position. My S triple Q is suffering because of it. No, I don't see it this way. For me, it's just a good opportunity to buy more. Like I said, I'm fairly confident with the thesis. It doesn't change overnight, nor such minor movements that are actually, if you want to be objective, as we say, are within the. Oh, that's crooked bot pattern. That's why we leave it. Okay, cool. Within the scope of the channel that we're moving within right now. The good thing that comes out of this, well, the bad thing, obviously, let's start with the bad obvious one, right, is that ginormous gap that we've opened up, but it does allow us to close that gap that originally I was speaking about and was hoping will close, of course, in the worst possible way. But those who are more hawk-eyed or sharp-eyed notice that we are basically just testing the ceiling of the channel. As I was mentioning, originally we might actually mark this spot based on the channel, but also said it's very unlikely and we're going to end up doing the median of the channel based upon how the momentum was building up that moment, and we're thinking it's going to collapse, not be able to run that far, right? It ended up actually getting that. Sadly, right after I removed this, so it's kind of sad that it no longer shows that potential. But remember, we said we did expect the market to correct back up and retest before it continues downwards, right? In fact, remember, we gave it a, pardon me, a higher point than what we see on the screen right now based upon the current channel that we're starting to see that is being built right here. And it's pretty clear, pretty defined, being tested several times. We've tested various supports and resistances into this minor wedge as we go, and we were able to break down even further, which give us a sort of the potential of hitting a handle of 5,700 in the upcoming, we said, week or so. Now that this week is running and ongoing, and we basically have today is pretty much all over and done with. We have left tomorrow and Friday. We did get a very strong, very negative CPI, which I was expecting to affect the market a lot more severely, in fact. I mean, we're pretty certain we're going to get it to a 2.9. As I mentioned, even if we do get a 2.8, it's going to affect the market unpleasantly, in an unpleasant way. We also said, of course, if we get a 3, the market would just, shit the bed, pardon the French. But, well, none of it somehow happened, right? There are various sort of movements that are happening, various sort of ideas that got the market pushing higher. We saw Nvidia, we saw Apple, we saw basically the major stocks, well, the S&P doing well. Of course, unsurprisingly so. The heat map looks pretty neat. Sorry, pardon me, wrong thing. So the heat map is pretty strong and green today. Another thing that is very strong and green today that people missed out on and kind of ignoring, and is very important to notice, is that 80 on oil. Wow. And we're back in that, those who remember the videos from before, we have this very annoying range we need to break and see how things develop. Right now we're above that range. My argument that it will break back down and will retest it. This is not enough. You can in fact see the markings I have made earlier throughout the session with my members, because I do hang out in the Discord. By the way, those who are here not from the Discord, coincidentally somehow found themselves on this channel, on this live. Details in the description below. Of course, ask questions. Feel free to kind of get familiarized with what we do here. Mainly technicals, of course, technical analysis on the major indices, the S&P, individual stocks, all sorts of cool stuff. Today, oil is important. Oil is in the headlines. In fact, I would argue that based upon this 4-hour structure, it looks very bullish at face value, like very bullish, but don't forget this is oil, and remember it's still below 50, so it's not all that crazy. And I would argue that it probably will test that and break back down to this very junction. That makes sense because of the longer duration trend. I know it's kind of a weird shape form to it. Let's just make it like so, okay? So it'll be a little bit more digestible, like so, rather. And maybe like so. Okay, so it'll be more digestible for you boys and girls. Cool. That is an important trend we need to break. And so I would argue that this junction between the short range and the sort of really long range will play a bigger role than just trying it out a couple of times and that's it. We're done with it. I argue that is so not like the market, if you will. If anything, we will drop back down, retest, of course, 78.96, potentially the ceiling of that descending channel anyways within itself, which gives us a handle of 78, whatever cents we're going to get there. So within that vicinity, so take that with a grain of salt, at least temporarily. So what else we want to look? Well, of course, we want to go to our beloved S&P and see what it is that we're still are about to get within the final 40 minutes of the session. And probably tomorrow. This is actually quite interesting. This is not a nothing burger, but all in all, you've seen and noticed this from afar. I kind of showed off. Oh, I really have a lot of noise here. I really better ought to clean my chart. I gotta clean my chart so people don't get confused. What is this nonsense? We can remove these. Alrighty. This is also unnecessary. Cool. Now, so what have we been seeing? Objectively, we saw again a tiny little gap right there, right? We said, but a descending channel. We're still within the channel, perfectly testing the ceiling. So it's kind of the detrimental point to where we are right now. Remember, if you watch a couple of videos ago, I actually mentioned the 5900 handle. We said that will be a potential area. Hello, Judy. Hello, Christoph. Hello, anybody else who I didn't mention. So we said this could be a thing. Again, those who remember can just, well, I remember, screw that. You can just go to the videos and watch them, right? They're there after all. At the end of the day, we do have this gap that is now basically below us to close, not just the big gap, but also the remnants of the smaller gap. And so they're kind of engulfed, and really we care simply about closing this gap. Once we do, we're all said and done and we're good. Now, let's keep things clean. My everything is dirty here. It's not good. Yeah, okay, that does emphasize the gap here. So in the grand scheme of things, the only thing that sort of changes from what we've projected originally is basically this. Okay, that's kind of the only thing that changed from what we were talking about. We're still expecting the price action to continue downwards. It may take a little longer, but again, let's go over the time frames. I'm deviating again. I'm being stupid. By the way, that doesn't mean necessarily we're the highest high, but it does appear that we're kind of within the top ceiling range. In fact, it's kind of amazing how high we got. And it's pretty good because we were able to squeeze out all that bullish momentum, and now we're pretty much free to go. So that's pretty good. Now, but let's see if that's the case, right? We are bullish on 1 minute. That's not a big deal. That's what we're doing right now between 5949 and 5962. So that's kind of normal. Nothing all that surprising. Still, as we said, this entire realm is kind of acceptable. Hello, Bedwars gang. Hello. Yeah, it's Christoph. Okay, I didn't miss anybody. Cool. What are we seeing on the 5 minutes? 5 minutes, we're bullish at face value, but we're starting to see convergence of the forces, and we're still below the 50, which you know what that means. So objectively, we're not all that bullish. Means, again, it's kind of acceptable to say that from here on out we can easily see 59.62, but it doesn't really give us more than that, at least for the time being. That's 5 minutes. Cool. Let's take that with a grain of salt. What are we seeing on the 30 minutes? 30 minutes, we're bullish at face value. We are not seeing the convergence of the forces. In fact, quite bullish. So cool. That confirms that 59.62 still. Remember, we have confirmed that this is more likely to happen than not on these short range time frames, and we're starting to spill over to the larger ones. What are we seeing on the larger ones? Absolutely confirmation. Conveniently, the channel is here. I absolutely can see how the price action can get locked into this wedge. Right, so we have confirmation on this. Here we go. Cool. Let's continue. 1 hour, more confirmation. So yes, that bullish momentum can easily get to these two highs that we've shown. We have all that bullish momentum that is in the hour time frame, which means we still have a decent chunk of time to go through, at least a couple of hours. We complete that, no problem. Easy, in fact, maybe throughout the nighttime. Bullish momentum on the 4 hourly, that is, well, quite significant. In fact, the 4 hourly bullish momentum signifies, I would argue, that we might as well make it all the way to a higher level, which conveniently, that is the channel median. You see, there's a bigger channel here, right? We've been riding within, we've got into it, kind of this flattened the channel with a slight inkling of upwards. The very next resistance that is right above it is basically that of the median of the channel, and we're saying that is 59.80. Okay, so not that far off. Or I would argue, based upon the structure here, it's not that far-fetched to expect to see the retest of 6,000, 59.80 we said, a discrepancy of $20, easily getting retested and maybe then breaking down, or maybe then going upwards. Well, let's see, right? Don't forget, we have this wonderful gap above us. You see, that's why it's so much better than when we do finalize all the gaps. Then we have less questions about why the market tends to do these things. For example, those who didn't notice, we ended up using this gap, this price action, to close this gap that was opened on the 6th of November. Okay, so we're on an election. So basically, we still have a lot more other gaps to close, but still we have so many of them that we have closed through this process downwards, and so not so far-fetched to think that we might complete the movement up to the upside to close this gap, and only then we're free to go. The market does tend to do this very thing and kind of get rid of gaps as it stabilizes, right? But it's very uncertain still. There is a bigger sort of thing at play here, which is harmonic patterns, and basically ones that are very large ones that are on larger time frames. And so that's something actually we discussed in the community today. For the price action to break above certain levels right now, it will be very much pattern breaking. Very, very, very unlikely. Or will signify that maybe Greg is wrong in some way. That's another thing. Could be. Absolutely. But let's see what the momentum tells us in reality about what we're seeing for the latest English much, bro, for latest price action. Okay. Cool. Now let's check this daily. Does the daily do? Daily do for us. Daily is actually above the 20, so it is objectively more bullish than normal, but still below the 50. So I would argue this is very temporary, similarly to what we had right here. In fact, very normal. As our trend deteriorates, the longer we go, basically, the longer it sort of drags out this trend. What did today's price action actually did do is bring us above and back into the short range channel. The real question is, will we start correcting back into the channel, or will we start breaking or continue breaking as we were so far? Remember, we said these channels, although do persist and hold for a very long period of time, eventually they do break, and eventually we do break to the right side, not to the left. And so it's far more likely that we're going to see this price action take a new channel by going downwards, maybe then even if correcting, like we said, 5,700 potentially, and then locking itself into a new channel. But for now, what we're seeing is that slow deterioration of the momentum. Of course, it's not yet all said and done, but we're seeing on the grand sort of scheme of things, if you're looking, taking a couple of steps back and looking objectively at what the price action here is doing or momentum is implying, is we're going further downwards. It's just temporarily we're having this very strong relief rally. Cool. What is the weekly showing? Weekly, we're still oversold, and actually we've prepared for this. We were prepared. That is what we're seeing right now. That is that relief rally that we're having, and so that's where that bullish momentum is coming from. Basically, what we got here is a movement to the downside, and now we've got a correction. Yes, we can correct a little bit longer, absolutely, still retaining the correct structure, and then eventually continuing to the downside, or continuing to the downside, or continuing to the downside. All right, so by the virtue of retesting these levels and a channel that is proceeding downwards. So still all very possible. In fact, if we think about it in the weekly time frame, which is far more dominant than the ones we've looked upon right so far, shows that we're still in oversold territory, objectively. So we're in kind of in the worst place we could be. It's just that right now we're taking a breather from it. Which is quite a significant breather relative to the correction itself so far. Does that signify that we're all said and done with? Well, let's see. If the monthly has any changes, maybe we're looking at something else here. But, well, for now, nothing really changed. We still are pointing to the downside. Now, I would argue we'll have roughly half a month ahead of us to conclude this candlestick and see where it's going to go. And so, yeah, if we're still going to retain this position, we're still retaining a downwards direction. If next month, in fact, we become even further more bearish, penetrating into below the 80 range and not getting stuck on it, which will, again, getting stuck will signify actually something very interesting. My argument is that we're far more likely to break inwards finally. We've spent on this basically 3 years. 3 years-ish. And so these processes normally take roughly about that period of time. So that's actually quite normal. And more so, through various other means, we can actually identify that we're already basically the momentum is dying down. Also, simply by looking at the structure itself, if you can see another very interesting phenomena I keep on mentioning, again, the channel that we broke on during, you know when. Okay, cool. Then. So that is the very same channel, and coincidentally, wink wink, we're just testing it. Cool. It can look different than this, can look exactly like this, it can look slightly different than this, it can have various sort of variants of how it looks like, and like we said, it can be dragged out a little bit longer, but all in all, we're at the edge. And I'll argue it's a matter of a day or two or a week, or literally we're at any moment now. Any moment now, the market takes such a deep dive that people will be horrified to how quickly we dive, even far deeper than the recent correction we had in the last days that drew us to 5,800. Okay, cool. So remember, we're basically relying on this to be true. And well, other smaller ones, but mainly this. Most of them are kind of bullish temporarily right now, having a relief rally. We're seeing also the loss of momentum right here within the candlestick structure itself. And of course, by the virtue that we're getting locked right here below the 80, very significant, very indicative of what we might get in the short-term future. I think we're done. I think we're done with this. I think we can skip over quickly to the shorter time frame, see what the market is doing. Also, there was a bit of a projection for the market to kind of break down all the way, by the way, just to be clear, in the final hour. Since we're in the last 29 minutes, I would argue that this is very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Although, I gotta tell ya, we've seen some crazy things in the market, even in the last 10, 5, 6, 8 minutes. You'd be surprised what the market can do very rapidly. Will it be justified? No, that would be weird. That would be just horrible. I don't want to say these words, but it's just gonna look like yeah, somebody's really really misbehaving in the market. But of course, you be the judge of that on your own. Um, uh, 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 some more we do individual assets, I believe. Let me get back to the chat real quick. See, I'm not missing anything. Said hello to everybody, and we'll get started with the tickers. Already see you there, Judy, with the KULR. I believe you're the first one. So I think we have Tesla there. Bedwars getting Tesla. She overtook you. I'm sorry. But we're gonna get to it. It's gonna be second. I promise. I promise. It's right on our doorstep. Tesla is ripping. Oh, wow. Let's see what it's doing. Let's see what Tesla is doing. That is an interesting one. So, sure. I mean, on the grand scheme of things, do I really have to point out? Wink, wink. What's going on? Wink, wink. I don't think. No, keep them. Keep the lines. Yeah, remove these. It's all good. Okay, now we're cleaner. What we doing? What are we doing? Right now, it's pretty interesting. I mean, we're obviously testing the channel upwards. Why are we doing that? That is an interesting one. Who's the real culprit? Oh, right. That's the real culprit. Cool. So we are actually bullish. We're squeezing whatever is left from our daily momentum. I'm sorry. I wanted to do this. Maybe I should want to do that. Okay, cool. That'll work. We're squeezing the leftover of that momentum, so very likely for us to go down. Again, remember, we're going through this sort of corrective period, so it makes sense, right? What do we see here? Completely confirms it tracking that ceiling still, so we're definitely there, maybe even penetrating slightly above, doing this little keeper thing. And that's actually very bullish. That's actually very bullish. The structure looks very bullish, I gotta admit. But the problems start the deeper you go. Right. What can I tell you about it? Look, it's... for now, it's pretty clear. It's definitely that ceiling, right? Which basically for you, it's 414 and the entire vicinity. Sure, that's slippage. I can see that. What is that? 375-ish area. Cool. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I can see that being your current support for that channel. And so basically you're testing lower, but at the same time, you're kind of in the range, you're range bound basically, but momentum is starting to break down. This is not too healthy for you right away. What your monthly say? Your monthly say that it makes sense why it did that. So it was squeezing the top of the channel, similarly, pardon me, similarly to the S&P, right? We're getting this similar S&P structure. Coincidentally hitting the very same resistance. Although here it had slipped over, which here it did the same thing. So is it that far-fetched to expect the market to start deteriorating sooner than later? Can it drag a little bit higher? Yes, it can. Can it drag back to whatever that ceiling is? That is 450. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it can do that. Let's see. Pardon me. I hope I'm not really getting sick, although I think I am. But boys and girls, I promise. I will persevere. I will do lives. I promise. I hope. All right. So we're, like I said, we're moving within the framework of the channel, and right now we're at the top, basically testing it. Can we go a little bit higher? Yes, we can. We set 450. That is on the monthly. The problem is that most of everything else is very bearish, is bearish, and more so we have to remember that Tesla does essentially follow the S&P at the end of the day, and when we start doing our analysis when it comes to an asset like Tesla, we have to consider what it is that the overall market is doing, what the S&P is doing, in other words. Use Nasdaq, use S&P, whichever you like. I would prefer to, for the comparison for Tesla, S&P is a far better comparable, SPX, that is, not SPY, not anything else. Go to the source, boys and girls. We say that always. All right, now cool. So this is again temporary bullish. It's bullish, right? So it's bullish. It's gonna become a thing. We need to put this on a t-shirt. Yeah, I got it. Cool. Yeah, bullish. But jokes aside, it is bullish because like what we're getting is bullish inside of a bearish channel. So it's bullish. Okay, cool. Bullish from now on is a thing. We stapled and coined bullish. Whoever doesn't like it can go beep, 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 beep. You know, and never come back. Okay. That was improvised beeping mechanism. I'm not like good YouTubers. I don't have it to the thingy. I should make it. Anyhow, jokes aside, on the grand scheme of things, you cannot ignore what the market is telling you and just kind of play along with what your individual asset is showing, because they work in tandem. It's that, like we said, that flower that grows in the environment. If the environment is breaking or poisoned, the flower cannot thrive. As well as it may be deceiving you because it has a different moving average, because it's shorter and never had as much price action to show for it, and so you come up with a different location or structure within the price within the moving average, which essentially that's what your stochastic RSI is. It's just not overlaid, by the way. It's kind of a form of it, and a moving average over the moving average. Brilliant thing. And more so, as you know, we're very bullish on the other even further time frames. Basically, it's unavoidable right now. We simply don't have any data on the, pardon me for coughing so hard, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I think I'm getting a bit sick. But yeah, it's very distinct. It's very distinct that, I mean, the trend is upwards, but we're kind of meeting a threshold here, and it's being tapered into a point to which it just will not be able to break back down. And we see it on most of the larger time frames. Shorter ones currently misleading you to think that everything is nice, right? Because you had a couple of good days-ish here and there. And so you're like, nah, everything is fine. It's like that meme with the dog and everything's on fire around him. It's like, everything's fine. No, everything is not fine. You're just being misled. And you allow it to mislead you, basically. So, and later down the line, if Greg is wrong, no problem. We might figure this out. Of course, we're going to see signs for it. But right now, it does appear to be the case. Okay, it's bullish. It's very bullish. Very, very. Judy, KULR. You get your KULR. Time for KULR. I was actually looking at that Kratos thing, and I do think it's going to correct a bit. It definitely ran its course, but I want to buy in. I will be buying in, whether it's at 27, if I'm super lucky, and eventually at 23, but I don't think that's the case. I'm really more of a 27 kind of believer here in that case. Really, I'm thinking to DCA into it at 30, but I really like the idea. I very like. Very, very, very like. So just to let you know, you brought something very valuable to me personally. Community-wise, to each their own, but I like it. KULR. I have it. Oh, I have it. I knew I have it. Yeah, that's good. We already have it here. Renewed. What do I have it? Any different? No. No. Pointless. It is pointless. It's identical. I'll be able to close this afterwards. Go away. Cool. We have our grid. We have something to look at here. Let's see what we see. We see we're median, basically. That beautiful thing. But it is definitely like the rest of the market pointing downwards. Get ready. If you're going to break below the 50, it then becomes quite evidently... Sorry for getting further from the mic. My bad. My apologies. It's not looking positive. There's obviously the channels here that it's trying to test. And so more so you're locked within the realm of this golden pocket, which is very important, which gives you, but more so it's a very problematic asset because of its very low price. So you're going to be all over the place, but it does appear to be that you will test this. Look, you know what? To be honest, let's just skip over quickly. It looks bad. It looks like when it will start correcting, it will drop to like $1. Okay? Just to be 1000% honest with you. it looks like it's gonna not be doing well. It's not gonna be doing well at all. In fact, that's just the honest truth. Okay. Shorter term is going to be very volatile in between all these levels, including the golden pocket, including the 50% retracement, the 3820, all of it, all of the above. But I do forecast how eventually, but all in all, look, it can be worse. I mean, you already look at this and you're like, well, we can break to the lowest tier sort of the channel, but it is very unlikely. I'll tell you that this is very unlikely because eventually, as the price squeezes and gets smaller and smaller, the side effect from the market also squeezes, and eventually it doesn't matter. The market will have to drop like $1,000 for this to have a carryover effect of like a cent. You know, I'm exaggerating, of course, but you get the idea. And so it still is limited, and I would argue that sure you might see anything that is lower than the $1 when eventually it does creep to these levels, but even so, it's not going to be all that bad, right? You're still going to stay on the higher tier of things. I would argue probably your lowest area would be roughly around that 07, like 79 cents, 70 cents. So basically the range between 80 to 70 cents. That is if the market really just took a dump on you, basically. Okay, that's like the almost worst case scenario. From there on out, I would argue that you're not going to see any lower. This realm is kind of out of look, everything can happen, right? But it's the likelihood of this is just very small, very unlikely event from where I stand. That is KULR based upon the sort of how it looks like on the grand scheme of things. Yeah, it still is that in that positive thing, so it's still gonna move that 381. Remember, it's not necessarily that you're gonna break tomorrow. You might see a correction to 302, even 381, but you're not able to run any further than this. I mean, 381 is definitely your established ceiling at this rate. I doubt you can actually make it back any higher. That is it. That is it. That is KULR. Judy, I hope you got your answers. Sadly, they're not as brilliant as you would probably wish. I know. And again, we don't do bias here. We just do what we see. Look, Grigori. Hello, Murat. How are you? Please, Coinbase. Okay, I'm not a big fan of Coinbase, but sure. Can we see 300 plus soon? Good question. Sure, let's do Coinbase for you. Why not? Coinbase, I don't. I cannot tell you that I'm a big fan, right? I cannot tell you that this is sort of my preferential, sphere of tech, but I cannot, I cannot refuse your request. Let's see what it does. Let's see what Coinbase does or does. Doodly doos. Let's see if it's bullish.
Bullish. I tell you, the market is bullish. Huh? Humble samurai.
3, 4, 4, 4, 4. I mean, I see. So, okay. I mean, yes, you can see 300 plus. Yes, you can. You can see 344 again. Since this is highly correlated to crypto and all the beautiful blah blah, you can see above the 300. Yes, it is possible. It is very possible. The problem is if you do get 300, I'll tell you what, basically it does appear to be that your ceiling is roughly around that 300. So, I mean, yeah, you can get above, but it's very short term, and if you get it, it's very risky for you to stay in it. You do you, of course, not financial advice, but I don't think you really have what it takes to make it to 344. and you are testing the golden pocket. So we said, yeah, you're far more likely than anything to be able to complete the process right back into it, test it to death a couple more times, maybe slide like above it, like we said, just for like a day or two, slide back in, maybe slide another one time, maybe even go bananas a little bit, but eventually it's going to take you down. Of course, I'm exaggerating, I'm just giving a hypothetical, but you get the idea. I'm far more certain it's going to get locked and make you test this 290 and 277 a lot more. Of course, it's not going to be accurate on the dot, and so prepare for potentially seeing slightly higher than 300 temporarily. Yes, possible. Absolutely. You're seeing it on the shorter sort of shorter medium range. I mean, we're looking at the monthly, so this still might take, you know, a couple of good weeks or maybe up to a month or two. Just saying. Yeah. Don't misunderstand. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Okay. Although it can. I mean, it can that you penetrate back in, you retest. Yeah, it can. It's
Bullish. Very bullish, I tell you.
that was a mistake to do that. Voice. MPLX. We want to. I haven't missed. I hope. Wait, let me retrace. I am gonna need to put slow mode. God damn it! You guys are running with the chat. We're already outside the expected weekly move with Two Sigma Gem today. I was session reverse to quantum stocks only. But today's session is reserved for quantum stocks only. I see. Okay, I see the joke, Johnny. Okay, I got it. I caught up. Okay, cool.
No quantum stocks for you. Come back 1 year.
Now that was a Samurai Seinfeld thing. In Germany, there is a dishwasher cleaner named Finish. Finish Quantum. Yeah, I know Finish. Finish are good. What would be people? There's like so much craziness going on. I missed in the chat. That's so funny. Most of the source of is Crazy Christoph. Just because the name is Quantum. Yeah. It's like yep. True. By the way, Apple is doing well today. I mean, by the way, if we're talking, it's part of the rally. Definitely neat. Nvidia, all of them are kind of having a neat day. All in all, if you want to be objective. And still, by the way, that's another thing to notice. In relative terms, when you really compare to the assets, again, something we spoke about in the community today, you really see the discrepancy between the assets and the overall market, the indices. And so subsequently, you can kind of, it's almost like a telltale sign to which direction the market is actually dragging. So what that we're going upwards? It doesn't mean anything. It's more about what is the overall, like, ignore the noise, notice the grand direction of things. And I mean, we can always see it. This is the bigger picture of things always. So, yeah. Christoph, MPLX. MPLX, let's do MPLX. I think I've covered coin well enough for you. MPLX. Christoph, what is this? Why do I feel like I'm supposed to know what this is? Why do I think I'm supposed to know? Right. Good. Right. Interesting. I should have a layout. Well, I don't have it, probably because of main one. Interesting. I should have a layout, but cool. Let's work with what we can work with. First of all, I want to see this, which gives me perfect perspective on that. You see, that is that channel that's retaining, and that was the abnormality, but that's part of the other channel that's already made, so it's going to move upwards just to break downwards. Cool. Gotcha. So on the one hand, here you're already on the border of 80. I mean, call it bullish.
It's bullish.
It's becoming more bearish, obviously. But you're obviously testing median here. So that's, again, very obvious. And it's very strong level here. You can tell it was retested before. The problem is every time it did, it broke other than this rally, which we know why. Why was that rally? Hold on. Hold your freaking horses. Horses. Right. That was that. So that was early. That was. Yeah, we do know what that rally was then. Right. No, sorry. I know what that rally was. That's me, though. And that makes sense. Okay. But with increasing energy prices and all that, you're probably gonna have some benefit out of it. But that's how beneficial will it be for you? You can just squeeze more, like stay flatlined on the top, on the ceiling, which eventually gonna bring you down. Damn. I mean, I hate to say it, Christoph. It's not good. Looking good. It looks like it's gonna sooner or later, which is probably sooner than later, drag you downwards, and significantly so. Even though it still is moving and testing that that top, yeah, I mean, it's pretty conclusive. It is pretty conclusive. You're gonna go down. How much down? You know what? I need to check for a second. Just let's do something smart about this because I haven't done this. What was that? Let's use brain. Use the brain power. Brain power. Alright, that also completely makes sense. Shit. Okay, that's probably gonna be a very weird one, but it's this one. And I hate when it's so long because it's not good. Okay, let's see if I'm right. I mean, it already looks suspiciously suspicious, right? Let's cancel the. What do you say, boys and girls? Did I get it right? I think I have. I think I did get it right. You not gonna make it to 55. You are not gonna make it to 55. In fact, you are starting to build a new pattern, but is it certain? Well, let's say, let's play the game for a second. Let's say that is the case. So you are building a new pattern. You're breaking that's already basically around the ceiling. Let's say even bigger, larger pattern. You still are fine, even significantly so. So the shorter range doesn't really matter at all. Larger, kinda iffy, but yes, still can, and still fine within the framework. Okay, conclusive. Very conclusive. Look, it's going down. 46.22 as a first measure. Establish support resistance test, get back to me. But MPLX will be going down to 46.22, definitely. It may take, Christoph, it may take you up to 3 months, if I get the idea. You know, maybe even longer. Remember, we're not here to measure time. We're just saying give or take based upon how it looks like right now, or pointing, in my mind. That's what I see. So, but you are maybe even a month, maybe even 3. But right now, as it stands, you're more bearish to the downside, and you really are bearish more than you are bullish, unless it's going to be stopped, which I doubt it will. I do think energy will pull back down, will affect it as well, and everything just kind of go hand in hand. Bearish. Oh, damn, you guys, so many questions. I missed out on some stuff. That's MPLX. Murat was first with coin. We got him. Yeah, we covered Murat. Yeah, we got him. Yeah, bro. Got some bullish momentum here. Yep. Brr. That was because I was trying to say contradictive bullish to bearish or bearish to but it's like in my mind I swallow words when I kind of like I'm running ahead of myself. The audience, do remember to like the stream. It helps Greg to have more YouTube exposure. At this point, I don't even know what helps me get more exposure on YouTube. YouTube, give me more exposure. YouTubes, give me more exposure. It doesn't make any sense. Although now I'm officially a real YouTube channel. I'm a real boy now, like Pinocchio. Yeah. I'm a perma-burr. Casey, Casey for the kill. Right, right, Permaburr. You know what? I'm gonna screw with all the annoying people like that. I'm a Permaburr. You don't know shit. Hear the voice from the background. Take your medicine, Greg. No, no, I like myself without the medicine. 22 watching and only 8 likes. Like guys, please tap. Stonks, you might need to refresh. Don't forget. Sometimes it's that. But thank you for the reminder. You're an absolute legend. Thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Also, notice, Stonks, you know what? Since you're here, normally we don't do that. It's kind of ironic now that you're not the one, I'm going to be the one, right? But look, notice energy. Remember why we did the right thing and not to overstay and all that thing. Notice 270, aiming downwards, same trajectory, nothing changed, but oil is at 80, right? Remember, boys and girls, remember something very important. Don't overstay your welcome in various assets. Don't try to fight the tornado or the tsunami. It's stronger. It's always stronger. Okay, so be smart like that. Be stonky and do smart stuff. Like don't stay for when you shouldn't be in yet anymore. Sorry. What is that? MFA dip. Michael Anthony, hello, welcome to the live and community and all that beautiful stuff. Dip with the rest of the market, but book value of 1842. Book value might not necessarily mean the market can detach with a 35 dividend each quarter has upside still from. You know what, Michael, do you want us to look at it? You don't want us to look at it? What is going on? Do you want to look at MFA or don't? If you in the chat, you do confirm and we do look at it. If you say we do, we do. We can see what the technicals say. I mean, it's not about look, book value can detach P, all that beautiful stuff. It can be completely detached from actual market behavior. Okay, so Michael Anthony going once, make yourself known. Michael Anthony, make yourself known twice. Michael Anthony, calling Michael Anthony. Calling Michael Anthony, third time. Michael Anthony. I see Michael Anthony is no longer here, so I guess we're going to skip his ticker since he is not responding.
Tungan. Hello, Tungan. How you doing?
Hi, Greg. Don't worry, I'm here now. Yeah, I never am worried. But I appreciate you joining the live. That is for sure. Greg, SPY. SPY, is it possible that on the weekly basis we are at August, September 2021 like area and not December 2021 like area? That's an interesting question. That is SPY. So you're basically saying SPX. Let's just make sure we're talking about this. Let's make sure. That might be a very good, interesting, intriguing question right there, by the way. Market is closed. And we're done. And we're done for today. Okay. So you're asking, just to make sure I'm not getting anything wrong here. So you're saying 2021, and you're saying, is it possible that on a weekly basis we are at August, September 2021? So August, September 2021. Okay, let's see that beautiful. So you're saying, is it possible that we're here, right, rather than a little bit further on? If I understand correctly? Let me just do change. Right, like right. I mean, look at this yourself. Let's do the game. Okay, let's hide the drawings. I'm not gonna hide everything. Let's hide drawings. Look at this. Okay, we have now a clean chart. You tell me, what does that look like to you? You see, the same way we see slippage on larger time frames, and they look, wow, I mean, very excessive, sort of, well, no, sorry, let's say medium time frames, right? and they look excessive and all that. And when we go further out, we zoom out just a little bit, then they realize, well, within the context of everything, it's not all that crazy. Notice what we're having here. Again, we're getting... I am considering on doing something very drastic, very drastic, like very drastic. Since yeah, we can do that, I guess. Let's go. Let's go. Let's remove that. Sure, yeah. Remove. Let's clean this up a little bit. You know what? I'm just gonna have a nice little chart here I can work with. Actually, we don't need this. It doesn't matter. That is not as important. I guess we can see anyways. Can you guys see through the noise, through the blue balloon? Right? I mean, just for now, like this. Okay. So notice what we're getting here. Notice this and the coincidence between this point and this point and this point. Notice how it all kind of plays along, right? How these 4 points kind of... SPY middle term, perhaps you and Greg are still bearish. Okay. Not on the weekly. Okay. So you think on the weekly it's going to be any different? Right. How is that any different though? Your longer duration, remember, because they're adjacent, that's kind of the trick here. The longer duration channel on the weekly is that very same one that you're seeing short term on the monthly, and subsequently so forward on we go, right? You can see. So this is the main channel. In fact, this is complete abnormality. Yes, we can grow upwards, not on this trajectory without correcting, not something like well, these indices you can see into its past and always. There is a way, again, we're going to talk about this actually, you and I, very much in depth, and you will learn how the market really does this and how often this is. And so on this smaller time frames, it does appear as if it's sort of breaking out completely and it's all insane. But in reality, you understand that it's not as excessive, right? In the context of things, you see, it's slippage. Yeah, I mean, right? Ugh. See? Not as excessive as you would imagine that it is. So we are up on the higher channel, on the beyond the ceiling, and you know how the market behaves. Let's not be biased and pretend, you know, we want the market to go up. Plus, I mean, you can see the deterioration process. You can literally see how it deteriorates and probably about to revert. At least, I mean, just this very simple movement from testing the current levels to where we're at right now to the ceiling of the channel. It's not even the median, nothing. That is 54, 5500. Okay, that's just that. So that depends on how far out you're willing to really objectively look at the scenario. It's like you can be afraid of the tiger in front of you or realize that there's a horde of tigers in front of you, whichever you want to be aware of. Depends on your choice, kind of. It depends on your bias, I guess. Let's see where. Well, yeah, I know. That's what we said. That's why it's gonna be so similar in behavior. Okay, my kosher brother, thank you. I'm not so kosher. I do like bacon. One of my favorite dishes involve a lot of pork. I'm sorry, I don't know how kosher I am, but you don't have to lick me, you know. We can just be friends. That's luxury, really defensive names. Stable. Yeah, no, Judy likes defensive stuff. That's good. That's not such a bad idea. That's actually very defensive as well in its nature as well. Absolutely, I totally agree, and I don't mind. I do think it's not such a bad strategy, Judy. Actually, that one I salute you on. You do a lot of crazy things in the community. A lot, but you do bring some really good stuff sometimes. I mean, I gotta give it to you. Some really good assets to look at. I mean, I'm serious. I want to buy Kratos. I think this is just, these stocks are inevitable. I mean, with especially the direction the world is headed, damn, we need more of that. and not secretly wink wink. That's part of why I like and will always say that Boeing is kind of okay. And yeah, I mean they really fucked up real bad, and I really do hold them, accountable, so to speak, of course, obviously, but they're not going anywhere, guys. Boeing is not going anywhere because they were tasked by the government or the military, if you will, to build them a force field. That is a siphon of money. They basically can ask for more money from here to Timbuktu, and they will always need more. And maybe at some point they will deliver on that force field thing, which, by the way, you can kind of look it up online. It's not some secret. I mean, it's sort of secret. I mean, you can see not everyone knows about it unless you talk about it, right? But it's really there, so you can actually look it up. I don't want this. This is not good. We don't want the market to break overnight. This is not a good thing. We're going to open a new gap. We're going to be creating a lot of waste of time. I prefer the market to stay flat if it can, all the way to the open for tomorrow, and then do whatever it's planning to do, because this is bullshit. This sucks. I don't want it to move downwards. We don't want that. People who like stable, persistent movement in the market properly, the way it should be done, understand that stability and gaps are we want stability, and gaps are bad for you, basically. So that's that. Where? I need shirt with that name, Crazy Christoph. Yeah, that can work. I mean, absolutely. Make them like the Billabong style, where you have that just kind of under the over the underarm or on the shoulder or something, not just like in this obvious name tag place, kind of, boring. Make it cool, like Vulcom. You remember Vulcom? They used to make awesome T-shirts. You can make it like Vulcom style, hidden inside, like a real cool. Yeah, Crazy Christoph, and I will actually go. Solid 5. Again, you should do what you should do, Judy. I cannot give financial advice. We look at technical analysis and we conclude what we conclude. And also, Greg can be wrong. Greg maybe doesn't know underlying story of company. Maybe Greg's missing something out. We're doing technical, very quick analysis. This is why we have the community in which we can go in depth on the asset, discuss what it does, and so forth. This is a little bit more surface level, what we're doing here in the community. Those who don't know, by the way, shout out to my new Patreons, to the coming back Patreons. I didn't realize some left and then came back and all that beautiful stuff. Ignore these tiers for the time being. It gives you more personal time with me. This is for crazy people altogether. Ignore them. Go with this tier. Don't forget to click this one little clicky thingy that makes you get 15% off, $17 instead of $20. You do pay annually this way, and everybody benefits basically. Join us, and that's where I actually hang out with the community and my students and all that beautiful stuff. Which, by the way, quick reminder: I have only one spot left for the one-on-one academy. Very, very important. Just one final spot that we were having, by the way, here in the Discord, of course. Lessons are conducted here in the one-on-one. Various conversations, videos, links, discussions, posts, tickers, all sorts of really cool stuff. But yeah, and more to come, actually. Remember, this community is still growing and basically in the works. There's plenty of things that are still not yet implemented, and will be. This is not good. Stop it, god damn it. We don't need this. Stop it. Stay flat. And yeah, join the community so you can talk to me directly every single day, pretty much. Again, I don't do personal invites. Just join the Discord, the open forum there, where it says open forum. It's a voice chat. We discuss anything and everything. I answer my members' questions. We do discuss pretty much anything from aliens all the way to the stock market. You choose. Food, whatever, whatever comes to mind, whatever you like, whatever comes up that day. Tinfoil hat topics, and all of the above. And more, and many more, and like your consumer staples. I like consumer staples. Yes, we do like consumer staples. I hate to simplify it and sound maybe a bit. I hope that doesn't come through as vulgar, because it shouldn't. It's just a thing, in life. If it's vulgar for you, adult a little bit. But I don't see women regressing from using, pads and tampons and making their own. Just kind of saying. Or people stop drinking Coca-Cola. So we have that kind of, we have that tampon trade, but we have that joke of the tampon trade, right? Because it's basically consumer staples, right? They're the right way to go. In very problematic times. No one says they're not going to suffer. They will, but less than the rest. It just kind of makes sense, Gotta go. Talk to you later. Alrighty, Judy, you have a good evening. Would we have a team for bullish, but actually in bearish form? That bullish.
Bullish.
What you would say when it's bearish, but in bullish structure. So bearish and bullish structure. I'm not sure I understand which one you refer to, just to be sure. But look, the overall structure is bearish, and that's where the idea comes from. Look, more so, I will say it differently. The overall structure of the market is bullish. The nature of the market is upwards. But that nature does not contradict the fact of the matter that it still breaks down to channels, and these channels on the larger time frames are very wide. And so retaining the very particular channel does not necessarily, you can become bearish within a bullish channel, which I think you might have been talking about, right? So bearish in a bullish channel still is bearish, and especially for you, the average sort of, the retail trader, so to speak. It doesn't matter whether you're an investor or a trader or whatever you want to call yourself, a giraffe or a hippopotamus. It doesn't matter whether you're long-term, short-term, none of it doesn't matter, right? So at the end of the day, if the market, unless again you do have positions that have some form of insurance for you, right? If you have that, sure, absolutely, that can definitely help out. But otherwise, I mean, being bearish in a bullish trend, you still go bearish significantly for a very long time, right? That kind of makes sense. Bullish. I have a good day. My job is calling. All right, Damien, have a good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good Shabbos, good whatever you have there. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Scary Halloween. Now we know if the price of eggs go down 50 cents. God help us, S&P 7K in a blink. So you think it's all about eggs, Abdul? I have a feeling it's not all about eggs. I don't know. I have a weird feeling it's more about quantum, maybe AI, not eggs. I have a feeling eggs are not exactly the thing that's driving it all. Yeah, plug. Where you're probably talking about the CPI, Abdul, right? The CPI report, if anything. So we're basically seeing food go higher for breakdown, poultry and stuff and related. I doubt it. I doubt that's the case. I'm just saying. I don't think that's what does the problem in America. Maybe delinquencies on car payments. Problems in the real estate sector, things of that sort. I think that's a little bit more realistically what is driving the thing, and more so, it is very weird how the market reacted actually post getting 2.9 on the CPI report. PPI, I argue that is misleading based upon the conditions, and it appears to be better, but really it just shows weakness. It just shows weakness in the overall system, and you realize that at some point why prices dropping in particular sides of things. Of course, it's not for us, not for the retail, not for the consumer, not for the consumer end, right? It's basically for manufacturers, and that is because they're kind of forced into this corner. Don't forget, supply chain is still messed up. So is it a good thing that in some realms, some of the prices getting cut? Well, not necessarily a good thing. It's actually maybe could be a indicative of pain, right? We still have layoffs. New job openings are not as swift as people expected. So you you wait. We're not. We're just getting started. Like I said, in my market's going to go to shit the bed. Remember, the whole idea was that there's a lot long. We're just in the beginning. We're at the beginning stages of the actual reversal, right? And it's gonna take so long within itself. So be patient. Patience is quite a virtue. On the other hand, we do know market does, when it does break, it tends to break very rapidly. So also on the same note, I'll say once we do break, and so rapidly that like there's will be no recovery, it'll be very distinct and clear, and probably sooner than later. Really, it does really feel like it's pretty much any moment now. Non-weekly, I've done it. Bad. I've done it the way you needed. As I see, SPY middle term perspective where you are still bearish. Okay, again, it is what it is. I am what I am. I am what I see. I'm Cheburashka King. I'm the king of Cheburashkas. Do you foresee tariffs having a net positive impact? Actually, that might be one of the one for Discord. Danny, that's actually a good one. I actually mentioned this. Yeah, no, look, immediately it might be very scary and an overreaction, but overall, yes, absolutely, a big positive. Guys, Trump is a great businessman. And I mean, maybe the only way I kind of thought about it, and I think the right way to go about the tariffs is to have a universal tariff for, universally for particular products and this and that sort of. It kind of is like, well, you cannot cry, it's fair, it's the same tariff for everyone, right? And find like this equilibrium, this healthy equilibrium, and maybe even take advantage of this process by, allowing maybe to have some cuts here and there for particular places if they play ball. You know what I mean? It could be used as a control tool. So I absolutely think that, yeah, tariffs are an absolute net positive. Absolutely. Maybe not right away, although I think they should be right away net positive on the grand scheme of things. But we know there's a lot more underlying issues like inflation coming back. And inflation going to come back with vengeance, which is far more likely than not. And again, the economy is not in a great state. The average household is not doing good. Layoffs are here. Job openings are shit. A shit storm if you want to go down that path. So yeah, absolutely. I do think there's a lot of issues ahead of us. Anywho, I think that is for today, boys and girls. I think we ran out of tickers. We ran out of stickers. And I've answered all your questions, and we kind of know what's going on. It's pretty boring. I doubt that we're going to get anything all that substantial over the post-market right now. If anything, maybe overnight, maybe going to be a little bit more interesting at this overreaction. But honestly, I prefer the market not to overreact in the market, to continue what we expect it to do tomorrow rather than to overact, and then for us to spend another extra day on this bullshit, which then means we spent a whole week on doing nothing. That would have been just a burnt week, all in all. So still not a completely nothing sandwich, because we end up completing a gap, which we wanted to complete. So it's a positive thing here. But all in all, it's not a big deal. There's a lot more to look out for. I'm doing a work project on investment returns in APAC, so having to do a lot of research into the long-term outlook. No, you don't focus on the Chinese market, but do you think their stimulus had any meaningful impact? Not that I'm aware of. China is in such a deep mess hole. If you really wanna, if you follow people like Serpenza Day or Serpenza, whatever you wanna call him, Lawa86, great friends of Tom, been guests on Tom Nash's Discord, or at least not Lawa, but for Serpenza Day. And he lived in China and knows very well, has a channel that focuses on China in depth, and Lawa as well, their partners and all that cool stuff. A paper tiger is an understatement. It is a paper kitty cat. It's not even like, it doesn't even appear as a tiger anymore. It's a paper kitty cat. It's not even, the kitty cat is not really real. It's just a cockroach at this stage. They do some crazy shit there, from getting oil from, like, bro, Denny, look up gutter oil. You're gonna be horrified. They feed each other poisonous and fake foods. It's not like they're even poisoning their enemies. No, they poison each other. They're doing some craziest shit there. Real estate there is fake. Look up tofu drag projects. You can poke a hole in a building, in a wall, with your finger, pull out the rebar, and play with it like it's a freaking noodle. That is not appropriate building. It is not even a paper tiger. It's insane. If you just Google or YouTube these topics, your jaw will drop. If you Google or YouTube gutter oil, right, like sewer oil, bro, you'll be so horrified. And that's far from the worst thing they do. So they do some really nasty, weird shit there. Half of their tech is fake. Their AI is basically oftentimes just a lady in a box. And it's just horrific how blatant it is. So yeah. Bricks is a piece of shit. Bricks is like a similar idea to Honor Among Thieves. Doesn't exist. It's bullshit. Even together they cannot uphold it, nor will it ever actually. Look, you cannot have a coalition run a city. It will be messy, right? You want to try running a currency, world-leading currency? Are you insane? Not you, but like insane to even think that's an idea that can work? Now, come on. Come on. And having countries like Russia involved in that? Come on. Come on. Come on. So yeah, no. Not just because the ruble sucks, but because it's Russia. And all the rest, other than maybe India, are kind of like iffy. Although, haven't India opted out in back at India are not even sure where they stand with it. They're like dragging their feet. They're like, let's see how this plays out. For now, we're just gonna play friends with everybody. Well, it's smart, very smart tactic. I love Indians for that one thing. That I gotta admit, they're smart. They're playing ball with everyone. Pretty smart. That's it. All right, boys and girls, I think we're going to conclude this session for today. I think we've gone through all the tickers. We answered all the questions. And it's time to adjourn this. I hope to see you tomorrow. I definitely hope you join Discord and come and hang out with us every single day. There's plenty of very good knowledge you can gain from that place. Discuss with like-minded people. Do more technical analysis-oriented stuff. Discuss more, learn more. That is a hub for people that are oriented the same way we are. If you're not there yet, you're missing out tremendously. Remember, the Discord is 100% private, so we're not going to get any scammers and none of that crap. Follow the instructions on the FAQ channel, and you will get in very simply. It's just very simple. There's a little segment there that shows you how you connect your accounts. Do that. You'll be unlocking the server. Get in, talk to us every single day, sometimes weekends, and yeah, all sorts of cool stuff. So join us. See you on the Discord. Bye. Bye-bye.